Hello everyone, Lexicon Gaming, back again with another video, and today we are looking at the remakes / remasters that I'd love to see. But obviously let me know yours down below. Yes, I know this one is going to be just a bit controversial with some of you, but I'm just going to put this out there. I love remakes or remasters. Now let me explain why. I'm 28 years old, okay? Yes, I know I look like I've had a tough paper round. I kind of have, actually. But what that means is that I've actually missed out on a lot of gaming history, unless I go fish out the classics, like I sometimes do. But that's not exactly easy. While I love retro games and retro collecting, it is not the cheapest thing to do these days. Definitely more expensive than when I first started at the tender age of 12. I remember going to a car boot sale back then, and for £15 I got a Sega Mega Drive, 2 controllers, like 15 games all in the box, including like Streets of Rage 2, and a stand to hold it all up. Now obviously it was worth more than 15 quid, but it's worth a hell of a lot more now, and people now know to go on eBay and look things up, which is fine for them if they're going to sell it on eBay. But if you're selling it at a car boot sale or somewhere that you don't have to pay for fees, then you can shove it. And even if I wanted to go looking for all the deals, because they are still out there, I've seen them, I'm on some Facebook groups and people put their deals up. The issue now is, I haven't been able to go to a car boot sale in years. Simply due to the fact that I don't know where they are anymore. The ones that I used to go to just no longer exist, which is why a cheaper, still physical version of the game with the graphics having a little upgrade is great. Another issue for me is I'm living in the UK. Nowadays, it's not a problem. Most consoles are region free, meaning I can buy a Japanese game or an NTSC game and play it on my console. Furthermore, most games come out in all regions nowadays. That did not happen for the older systems. I need the console to be from the same country as the game, and then you factor in shipping costs and the fact that it might not even work when it turns up. It turns into a bloody expensive hobby. And the issue with needing those games from different countries is that back in the day, the PAL region got screwed, mainly with RPGs. Let's start with the Final Fantasy games. We got 0 until Final Fantasy VII on the PS1. No Super Mario RPG, no Earthbound, no Luna, the list goes on. Now of course there's emulation, but again, I'm a collector and I need to have the game in my hands for the most part, which is where all of these remakes and remasters come in handy. Do you get it? Because like hand and handy.
This guy stinks!
And with the help of these new remasters, remakes, whatever you want to call them, I have finally gotten to play some of these games that I've missed out on. Super Mario RPG. Who the hell saw that come in? And Chrono Cross. And just recently, the Luna series. Just got put out. So yeah, I love these remakes and remasters, but I want more. So here are some that I want the most. We are starting strong here, ladies and germs. We are starting strong with Xenogears. What a game, what a story. Why the hell can you not... You can't even... Not even the remaster aspect. You can't play this unless you own it at the moment or emulate it, which I actually did, first of all. One of only 2 games that I've ever actually emulated. This had to be done, and then I had to buy the physical copy, even though I can't blink and play it. It's that good. But yeah, how is there no way to play that game? It just baffles me why it's not been done, because it could be. As far as I know, I haven't delved too much into it. I'm not sure if it still is, but I saw some articles before about it being on the PS3 store. Can you still... I don't even know if you can still buy things on the PS3 store, if I'm being honest with you. Even so, if it's on there, why can't it be on the PS5? Or preferably the Switch 2. It just feels like a game of this magnitude. You know, yeah, it might not have sold as good as a few of the other games I'm going to mention here, but it's Xenogears. If you've played it, you know exactly what I mean. If you haven't, go play it. Emulate it like I did. You need to. It's that good. And next up, we have the second game that I emulated, Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger was in my top 10. I'd probably put it a bit higher now. I know it was only a few months ago, but I recorded it a while ago, and I'd probably even put Xenogears in it as well. These two just make no sense to me. I can see it more on the Chrono Trigger side, because they obviously had the dream team that worked on it, so I don't know if Square Enix just don't want to touch it, just in case they ruin it. But come on, a Chrono Trigger 2D HD remake would be insane. Even just a remaster would do at this point. And yes, I'm literally holding up a later version of the game, but I don't like it on the 3DS. And the 3DS is not modern anymore, let's be honest. Sorry, when I say don't like it on the 3DS, I mean my hands don't like the 3DS. Give it to me in Switch 2, please. Next up is a game that I can't show you in any way because it's Panzer Dragoon Saga, a cult classic that came out on the Sega Saturn. Now this one makes a bit more sense as to why we haven't seen it yet. This did actually come out in the UK, but from what I've read online, it sold 1,000 copies. Don't quote me on that because that's just what I've read online, but what? Apparently only 2,000 copies in all of Europe. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but what? From what I've heard, it sounds amazing from what I've played. And another reason is because they lost the original code of this game. So remaster is out the window, but they could do a full remake, right? And I can't even say to go emulate it because apparently emulation for Saturn games is very difficult to do. I don't know, but apparently. A lot of apparentlys in this one, isn't there? Which is fine, because I don't claim to be an expert. From what I've seen, it's in the hands of Megapixel Studio and Forever Entertainment. Sega sold them the rights to remake previous Panzer Dragoon games, and if anyone's going to do Saga, it's going to be them. So I guess we'll see, but I would love to play it. Here's a big one for you. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And I know I just showed you a PS4 game with a game that I want a remaster of. That's not a remaster. It's a port. It's a limited run game. It's for the people who want the physical version. Especially the people in the UK who are not paying 500 quid for the PS1 version. So with this one, it's had plenty of re-releases on online stores and, of course, physical. To me, a full remake is what's needed. I honestly think sales would be through the roof. With the online presence that Symphony of the Night has alone, I think it would just print the money, to be honest with you. It's, in my opinion, the most positively talked about Castlevania. If you watch top 10 videos and there's a Castlevania game in it, that's the one that's going to be in it. I'm just surprised that it hasn't happened already. Pick your socks up, Konami. Come on. Next up, we got a couple Final Fantasy games. And I'll start with this one. Final Fantasy IX. So, heavily rumoured. I don't know how many times I've tuned into a State of Play just crossing my fingers that we were getting a Final Fantasy IX remake. It hasn't happened yet. But those Nvidia leaks, they're nearly there. They've got so much other things. And guess what? It's the 25th anniversary this year. It's one of my favourite Final Fantasies. And for good reason. It's an amazing game with a great story. And it'll get you in the fields. Doesn't matter who you are, it'll get you. Now, while 9 is doable, I think, this one, maybe not. So we've got Final Fantasy VI up next. The main reason is because the director-producer said that if it was to be remade, then it would be across multiple games over 10 years, which is like, it's fair enough. It is a huge game, and it was on 2D, it was on the SNES. But I was talking more about a remake, because we've had it remastered recently in the Pixel Remaster. Just imagine it though, like Kefka in 4K, completely remade. Fan favourite is up next, and that's emphasised by the price still being up. Simpsons Hit and Run. So many memories with that one. You know you want it to. It's a timeless classic. Why not just give it a little tidy up, And as I previously mentioned, the original's pricing is still up there. So going off that, it's gonna sell. Donuts. Don't you dare try and tell me that the abomination they brought out a few years ago was a fitting remaster to what I think is the best GTA game ever made. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was the first GTA game I ever played, secretly. Still my favourite, and I genuinely think it is still the best. It needs a remake with today's graphics. A complete overhaul. Just for me. I'm guessing some of you think I'm probably talking shit here, but this is my list and what I want. Give it to me. And the last one I'll talk about today, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Well, duh.
I mean, yeah. It's my favourite game. Don't know if I've brought that up before. I thought about bringing up Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD, but there's a reason I didn't. They've already got a HD at the end of their name. Those games are perfect. While I'd love for them to be simply ported, those versions ported over to the Switch 2 would be perfect. But Ocarina of Time, I want it all. Redo it, but keep it the same. But redo it, but keep it the same. And I know what you're going to say, the 3DS version was great. I agree, but it's not what it could be. Just think about Ocarina of Time in 4K, people, with everything updated to look new and fresh. And it's my favourite game. Of course I want it remade. Well, that's that. There's probably a lot that I'm missing, so, as I said before, please let me know below what your most wanted revitalised games are. Thank you for watching, thanks for sticking around. If you liked the video, give it a like. Please subscribe if you want some more just like this, and cheers.